motivation and goal of this project was to look at what IT Delhi is like as a workplace for the Quest cleaning staff, who, though are not employees of the institute, but are still essential to its day to day functioning. We aim to connect what we've learned about organizational cultures, hierarchies, the role of gender, to real life via the workings of the cleaning staff. To collect information for the same, we went straight to the source, the workers themselves, as a means of primary research to form a basis and subsequently analyze it. To collect what exactly we wanted to know, we developed a questionnaire broadly covering the aspects of A. Job description, their background, how and why they got into this job, what a typical day looked like for them, working hours, and more. B. The structure of the organization, what was the hierarchy like, the relations between managers and workers, formal and informal roles, if any. C. Physical and mental well being. The exertion and impact of the physical labor, if they got any paid leaves, what was their uniform, and whether it was sufficient in weathers like the winter.
The questionnaire has been decided in such a way that it will help us understand several aspects that have been discussed in class. For example, the questions about job description and structure of organization will help us understand the bureaucratic aspect of the organization and also help us realize the application of principles of scientific management. It will also help us look at this organization as a culture. For example, the questions about their typical day timetable and the rules and regulations that they have to follow will give us insights about the shared aspect of culture. Then the questions about the training that they have to undergo and skills will give us insights about the learned aspect. The dress code that they have to follow or any other uh, symbolic identifications will give us the symbolic aspect of culture. And talking about the adaptive aspect, the relationship between the workers and the supervisor will give us insight about the adaptive aspect of culture.
अच्छा आप कहाँ से हो अच्छा और जो बाकी आंटी है वो भी सेम ही प्लेस से है आप सब अलग अलग जगह से अच्छा और आपकी दिनचर्या क्या रहती है आप क्या क्या करते हो घर पे आने के बाद अच्छा
In the next few slides, I'll present the data that we collected from interviewing 20 people. 55% of the workers lie in the age group of 35 to 45 years, which shows they have been doing this job for almost over a decade. In our survey, it was found that around 26% of the cleaning workers expressed satisfaction with their job. Notably, the satisfied respondents fell within the younger age demographic of 20 to 25. This insight suggests a potential correlation between job satisfaction and age. The survey reveals that the majority of workers dedicate an average of 8 hours a day to their duties, and 25% of respondents reported working for even 10 hours a day. This insight sheds light on the varying work hours among the workers.
From the interviews, we were able to identify principles of scientific management like Fordism and Taylorism. So the first principle that we identified was division of work. Division of work refers to the general principle of maximum fragmentation. We realized that every worker was given a floor where their work was divided into smaller steps. For example, every worker had to first perform dusting, followed by sweeping, and then followed by mopping. The next principle that we realized was standardization of work. Each worker was given standard tasks to do, and there was no personalization or customization of any sort. Talking about time study, each worker had to punch in their attendance at the time of entry as well as at the time of exit. And there was also a monitoring system in place where their supervisor checked their work on a daily basis. For example, the supervisor checked whether the dustbins were emptied or not, or whether the rooms were clean enough or not. Now, all of these principles led to certain implications. Like we could see that the workers had to do almost no brain work, and thereby their training time for this job was very minimal. And all the decision making power lied with supervisors. So, the factors that make us believe that there is scientific management in this organization are as follows. First is evaluation. The supervisor constantly evaluated the work of the workers. Then the supervisor assigned the work daily to them. Each hostel had one supervisor, and each worker was assigned a certain task every day.
सबके अलग अलग सुपरवाइजर है सभी हॉस्टल में, जैसे हमारी ये कविता मैम होगी और सादरी में ये सुषमा मैम होगी.
So we observed a certain hierarchy in this organization. All the workers from a hostel have to report to a supervisor, and then supervisors report to the cleaning staff manager at Iitd, who is answerable to the head of the Quess, the company that recruited them.
जैसे मतलब बट किसी की तबीयत ख़राब है तो हेल्प मिल जाती है. जैसे हाँ थोड़ा सा, जैसे अब ये प्रतिभा दीदी होगी, इनकी तबीयत ख़राब है, इनकी बस की नहीं होती, तो थोड़ा हेल्प कर देते हैं एक दूसरे की.
अच्छा, तो फिर सुपरवाइजर वगैरह उसमें तो कुछ नहीं कहते, बस काम होना चाहिए.
हाँ बस ये काम है, अपने आराम से करो, जैसे भी करो, तुम्हारी तबीयत ठीक नहीं है तो अपने बट किसी का सहारा ले लो.
So there is mutual respect between workers and between workers and supervisors. We can see some indulgency patterns as described by Alvin Goldner. Supervisors allow them to take tea breaks and socialize, and they do not mind when they punch in late sometime. Supervisors are happy as long as the work is completed.
Interestingly, we also observed that the cleaning staff organization replicated the results obtained by the Hawthorne experiment. For example, the cleaning workers had formed closely knit groups in every hostel, and they supported each other through every situation, which boosted their productivity. And all of them had a shared idea of the kind of work they had to do every day, and they made sure that each one of them was able to complete the task given to them.
Right. So we also observed certain features of this organization because of which it can be modeled as a bureaucratic organization. Just like in a bureaucracy, this organization also has some rules that have to be followed by everyone. These are: the working hours are fixed and these are from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They have to report, they have to come in a uniform dress code. They cannot leave the floor which is allotted to them. They are monitored regularly by their supervisor, and the supervisor gives the feedback of them twice in one semester to the manager. Mentioned by Alvin Goldner, we identified the three types of bureaucracy in this organization as well. The mock bureaucracy, since officially it is not allowed to take breaks in the work, but supervisors do not mind if the workers take breaks in between. The representation bureaucracy, they are required to wear protective gear such as gloves, and they do them to protect themselves. The punishment bureaucracy, they are required to come on allotted days, but if they do not, they face consequences.
So we can conclude that the cleaning staff of IIT Delhi can be modeled as an organization which has the formal, informal as well as environment components. The formal component refers to the organizational structure, the job descriptions, the hierarchy of decision making, and the rules and policies to be followed. The informal component refers to the individuals and how they relate to each other and influence the formal system. And environment refers to the connection between the informal system and the lives of the members outside the organization. We can also see that this organization is a cultural organization with shared, lone, symbolic, as well as adaptive aspects. Further, we also had a look over the bureaucratic aspect of the organization and the principles of scientific management that were reflected from the interviews that we conducted.